Hey guys, Jonathan here, and in today's video, I wanted to make a custom LEGO Thunderbolts set, and that, of course, is the red Guardian's limousine. I love the way that this turned out, and since unfortunately we didn't get any Thunderbolts sets from LEGO, had to take it upon myself to make my own. Now that being said, the main play feature here, of course, is the fact that it's the red Guardian's limousine, but I added Bucky with his launcher there so that we can recreate the scene where he blows the limo up, and of course, I had to make all of the minifigures to go with it. So we'll break everything down in this video. Be sure to hit like and subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's start talking about it. Now, we'll take a look at the minifigs at the end, and we'll take a look at the build up first. Now, I found instructions on a website called Rebrickable, and these are by a builder called the Lego Master. He built his own SUV limo, and while I thought that the SUV style was maybe a little bit too, militaristic, I bought his instructions, ordered as many of the pieces as I could, and then supplemented with pieces from my collection, and built what you see here. Of course, there's even a detailed interior as well for us to look at, so I will drop a link down in the description for where you can get those instructions. And like I said, I built his model, then I started deconstructing it and building it into how I wanted to look from the Thunderbolts. Namely, the way that the original model was built, I actually used the back as the front and the front as the back. So we'll start at the back here, and I wanted to leave some studs exposed on the trunk because, of course, we all know that Bucky shoots his launcher, and, of course, in this case, we've got the stud launcher here, so we'll go ahead and shoot that out. Of course, the piece went flying, but the idea is you could shoot it and stick it to the back, a little something like that, which is pretty cool, and then, of course, we all know he blows up the limousine from there. Now, the other thing is, I had to order a lot of the pieces from Bricklink, so I got them from all kinds of different stores, and you'll notice that the different shades of dark red are different. Like, this long piece there is a different shade than the piece right in front of it, and you'll also notice that there are some brown pieces interspersed throughout, because I wanted it to look old and rusted, so I actually don't really mind that the colors don't match perfectly, because I think it just adds to the aesthetic. Now, in the back, we've got one door that opens to allow the figures in there, and then in the front, we've got two doors that open here. I went ahead and made the front built the way that it is so that we could have the minifigures kind of be able to, lean out the window in Yelena's case when she's looking at Bucky and everything like that. Now that I think about it, I think it's a pretty tight fit to put the minifigs in there and be able to close the roof, but they do fit, so that works out really well. And then, of course, the idea is to have Yelena hang out the window a little something like that. So that's pretty cool. And another thing I want to talk about, of course, is all the studs on the roof. In a perfect world, I would love for there not to be studs exposed, but with the pieces I have versus what's available in dark red and what I could get in quantity on Bricklink, it just made sense to do the roof this way. Now, as we move into the back, there is room that you can seat Ghost kind of along the wall here, because she's sitting sideways, and then of course you could put Walker in the back seat like this. You got to remove his shield, but you guys get the idea. Then of course I added a little drink bar there since it is Red Guardian's party limo, and here's what the bottom looks like. Nice and built. I don't know what I wanted to say there. But then, of course, the only other part of the build is Bucky on his motorcycle. Now, the motorcycle is one of the older traditional motorcycles, and I gave him a stud shooter blaster for the play feature we were talking about just before. Then, that's a good transition to talk about the minifigs. For Bucky from this scene, I used these legs from the Star Wars Imperial Engineer figure, with the head and hair from the Bricktober version of Bucky, and the torso from Mutt Williams from Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in 2008. And, of course, he's got his black Winter Soldier arm there as well. Our next minifig to take a look at is Ghost, and these are the same minifigs that I used in my Thunderbolts showcase, but in the context of this being its own LEGO set, I thought Ghost would be good to have here with her helmet. The head comes from the Pharrell Williams Over the Moon set. The helmet is from the Snowman Iron Man from the Marvel Advent calendars. The torso and legs are from the Dune set. And while you don't technically need the skirt piece, this one came from the Ninjago CMF series and looks really good if you happen to have it. Moving on to Walker, he's a pretty simple figure to make. You do have to break the purist method, though, taking a Captain America helmet and a black paint pen or Sharpie to turn it black. The head and torso which is flipped around, come from the Winter Soldier from the latest iteration of his minifig from the Captain America Civil War Airport Battle. He's got black arms with a dark red glove, and then, of course, he's got his shield, and the closest piece we have for his shield right now is actually Groot's eye from the buildable Groot figure set, and then, of course, we have the legs from Hank Pym Ant-Man to help add a little bit of red back into the costume. Now, for Yelena, she uses the torso from Paul Atreides from the Dune set as well. The head comes from Korra from the LEGO Tron Legacy idea set years ago. The hair comes from Lloyd from the LEGO Ninjago movie. We've got black gloves and the dual-molded legs with black boots from the CMF series Carrot Guy from several years back. So that's cool. And then our final minifig, of course, is Red Guardian. He has the arms from Captain Hook with the white around the edges there with dark red gloves, the torso and head from the official Red Guardian from the 2020 Black Widow Comic-Con exclusive set, and these legs with white boots and red legs that come on the Sam Wilson minifigure from the Avengers accessory pack that was a LEGO store exclusive back in 2020. So with all of that being said, that kind of breaks down the set in its entirety. Like I said, I will link to the LEGO Masters set instructions down below. It's not exactly what I built here, but it will get you pretty close, and then you can use some of your own imaginative ideas based off the pieces you have available to you, or you could always go back and pause this video at various points to check out some of the techniques I used. But with that being said, that brings us to the end of this video. I would love to hear what you guys think of this. One other thing I needed to mention is on the hubcaps here, I used these ones from Speed Champions that I had extras of from a previous Speed Champion set. I just think that that really helps it come to life a little bit more, and I dig it quite a bit, so I almost forgot to mention that. But let me know how you think this turned out. I'm super happy with it. I'm going to totally keep it assembled and add it probably in front of like my Avengers Tower or somewhere in my city, or maybe even on one of my shelves. That being said, probably not too much longer before I have to take apart the minifigs for the Thunderbolts so that I can actually use those parts for other pieces. But I've really enjoyed having these pieces together. You know what? At this point, I'll probably just buy doubles of all of them so I can always keep my Thunderbolts minifigs together. And we can build this dream together. Okay, too easy, too funny. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this custom build down below. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.